Cassandra, a former investigative journalist, bought a remote 19th century mansion deep in the countryside of Massachusetts. Seeking peace after a breakdown, she hoped the silence of nature would soothe her restless mind. The house was massive, Gothic in architecture, its stone walls weathered with time. The air always felt colder inside. Still, she moved in, determined to start fresh. At first, the oddities were subtle. Cracks forming on walls overnight, doors swinging open with no draft, fleeting shadows in her peripheral vision. Unsettling, but she chalked it up to age and isolation. Then came the night she woke up at exactly 3:07 and to the sound of a blood-curdling scream echoing from inside the house. Startled, she jumped out of bed and stepped onto something wet. When she turned on the light, she saw a trail of fresh blood dripping from the ceiling above. Terrified, she looked up. The room above was supposed to be empty. Grabbing a flashlight, she climbed the stairs. The upper room was cold and still, but on the far wall, in dripping dark red letters, was a single word written in blood: guest. That night marked the beginning of her descent. Over the following days, every mirror in the house began to behave strangely. Whenever she looked into one, her reflection would lag, just by a second, but enough to be noticeable. Then one night, brushing her teeth, she saw her reflection smile at her. She wasn't smiling. She froze, staring. The reflection blinked. She did not. Behind her, she felt hot breath brush against her neck. She turned, heart hammering. No one there. In the basement, behind a crumbling wall, Cassandra discovered an old journal buried beneath loose stones. The pages were yellow, dated 1842. The writer was a priest who had once lived in the mansion. His final entries were desperate and fractured. This house is no longer in God's sight. The master of shadows awakens. The curse feeds on blood. If the guest arrives, do not meet its eyes. The last page was soaked in dried blood. After that, all the clocks in the house stopped working. Every single one, frozen at 3:07 on one morning. Cassandra awoke with a crawling sensation under her skin. She looked at her arm and watched, horrified, as black veins slithered just beneath the surface, like worms burrowing inside her. She screamed and ran to the mirror, but her reflection didn't scream. It grinned. That night, the house spoke to her. Not metaphorically, literally. The walls whispered her name. The creaking floors moaned like something alive. Distant cries echoed from the attic, though it had long been sealed. Panicking, Cassandra decided to escape. She ran to the front door. It was gone. No knob, no frame, just a solid wall. She turned to the windows. All were bricked shut, as if the house had swallowed itself whole. She was no longer an owner. She was the guest. At 3:07 that morning, the lights flickered and died. The air turned heavy. Somewhere, a door creaked open. She heard footsteps, slow, wet, and then it appeared. A towering figure stepped into view. Its bones jutted out like knives, its skin ash gray and stretched thin over an impossible frame. It had no mouth, but its voice echoed from the walls. "You are mine now." Cassandra tried to scream, but her throat burned. When she looked into the mirror, her neck was bleeding. Her vocal cords had been torn out. The next morning, the mansion stood still once more. A new buyer arrived for inspection, noting the eerily silent atmosphere. The front door was slightly ajar. Inside, the air was icy. On the far wall, written fresh in blood, was a single word: welcome.